Trump delivers first public reaction after days of publicly begging Iran to submit comprehensive peace plan through mediators. Iran formally submits detailed response to mediator Pakistan, containing key demands for ceasefire consolidation. Iran's reply prominently features complete war termination, full US repayment of war damages, and immediate end to all economic sanctions. Trump's fundamental core demand receives zero mention in Iran's calculated asks, deliberately sidelining nuclear negotiations entirely. Trump's entire military campaign appears conducted in vain as Iran categorically refuses nuclear discussions, the reason US initiated conflict. Iran has submitted a sweeping counterproposal aimed at ending the conflict with the United States and Israel, laying out detailed conditions for broader regional settlement. According to Iranian state-linked media, Tehran delivered the proposal on May 10 through mediator Pakistan, formalizing its position in the ongoing ceasefire and peace talks. The plan calls for an end to hostilities across all fronts, including the Israel-Lebanon border and the wider Gulf, while seeking explicit guarantees that the US and its allies will not launch fresh attacks. Iran also demanded war-related compensation, including reparations for damage caused by sanctions and military pressure, and demanded recognition of its sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz. Tehran further called for the release of its frozen overseas assets and a short-term relief on oil export restrictions to ease the impact of the sanctions regime. Iran asked the US Office of Foreign Assets Control to suspend sanctions on Iranian oil sales for 30 days, presenting this as a confidence-building measure during the negotiation phase. The proposal also demanded an end to the naval blockade around its ports and key maritime trade routes, arguing that the blockade has caused major economic disruption. Sources told Iranian media that the counterproposal includes a clause on Iranian management of the Strait of Hormuz, giving Tehran a central role in controlling and monitoring traffic. Washington has repeatedly rejected any Iranian-led control over the Strait of Hormuz, describing the idea of Tehran managing the choke point as unacceptable and a threat to global shipping. The Iranian proposed framework reportedly includes a 30-day negotiation period after ceasefire takes hold, during which both sides would work toward converting a temporary truce into a more permanent settlement. Meanwhile, the Wall Street Journal reported that Iran could be open to temporarily pausing uranium enrichment as part of an interim deal. However, Tehran is said to be willing to accept only a far shorter pause than the 20-year suspension that the US has reportedly proposed in its own draft plan. Iran also reportedly rejected any demand to dismantle or cap the number of its nuclear facilities, insisting that its nuclear infrastructure remains a sovereign right. US President Donald Trump reportedly fumed over Iran's counterproposal, posting on Truth Social that he considered its terms totally unacceptable despite the existing ceasefire. Trump said he had reviewed the proposal and rejected its core elements outright, including Iran's demand for control over the Strait of Hormuz and the scale of sanctions relief. Trump's strong rejection came as he told Axios that he spoke with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on May 10. Donald Trump said, and I quote, "I don't like their letter. It's inappropriate. I don't like their response. Iran has been tapping along many nations for 47 years. Iran talks are my situation, not everybody else's." Unquote. Meanwhile, Iranian officials insisted the plan was based on defending Iran's rights and sovereignty, rather than accommodating US red lines. A source told Tasnim that the negotiating team was not drafting proposals to please Trump, but to ensure Iran's security and economic interests were protected. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian reiterated that dialogue does not mean surrender, stressing that talks are a tool of diplomacy, not concession. In a statement on Sunday, Pezeshkian declared that Iran would never bow down to the enemy, framing the counterproposal as a firm but conditional path toward ending the war.